Good morning, good morning, good morning. You already know who it is, target individual CJBK. So today, or at least this video, is going to be mostly about dealing with V2K and the doubt and the you saw me slip just now. Yeah, it's rain. It's drizzling right now, but it's not. Hasn't reached full blown rain yet. But yeah. So yeah, this one's gonna be mostly about dealing with doubt being induced by the V2K and the handlers and whatnot, and also dealing with insecurities and things of that sort. And I believe this one will probably resonate with just about anybody, whether you're being targeted or not. It's all right. So I'm gonna just start it off like this. Oh, I got a few cases of water in my cart, so it's a little heavy. Anyway, so yesterday, me and my lady friend, we decided we was gonna go to the beach, and we met up with one of my old friends that, she reminded me, we've known each other for like 13 years. I was like, oh shit, that's dope. But anyway, so, we get to the beach, and now mind you, the woman I'm seeing now, like I've known her for like at least like 4 years, so, and we dated time to time, even before my targeting started. So, or at least I was aware that I was, being watched by secret groups of people who are planning out how they're going to simulate my life. So, yeah, she is a dancer. She, spent years studying dance, knowing about dances, and dancing is like a way that she likes to feel confident about herself, It like accentuates her, or what's the words I'm looking for? Like it makes her feel good about herself to like dance and just like really just like express herself, Then also, she has a very, very sensual part about herself that she, she likes to, I don't know, she likes to express herself, right? Whether it's through music or, whatever she's wearing. And that's what she likes to do. I mean, I myself, I have my moments, or, I've definitely had a time period where I found myself being, pretty much almost the same way, really. But the only thing that kind of makes that part worse is like now with when you have like these nefarious people who basically hack your nervous system, and they're basically implanting thoughts and ideas that aren't necessarily yours. They're trying to program fears into your mind that you never necessarily had before. They will try to take whatever little crumb. They'll take whatever little crumb of, something that you may feel uncomfortable with, or something that you may feel insecure about, and they will focus on that with a tightly fine, pretty much like I definitely missed my turn somewhere. But they'll focus on that with like a tightly fine, you know, like microscope, and then they'll basically verbally attack it, you know, basically making you feel as if like, you know, you didn't know certain things about who you are, who you're with, and then they'll basically make you, they'll basically try to make you feel as if, you know, bad things are just going to happen to you or whatever the case, blah, blah, blah. You know, and you know what? That's okay. Why? Because they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. You know, when you understand and learn who you're dealing with, these handlers, gang stalkers, all of them, they're all low vibrational. They're all operating on like some of the most lowest frequencies, right? You know, and then on top of that, they don't control their own frequency. They basically rely on artificial intelligence or some type of machine to control how they conduct themselves in the world. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of lazy. Hold up, though. Yeah, I'm back. I realized I'm on the wrong side of the city. I was at the right street name, but I was just on the west side instead of the east side. Anyway, so let's go ahead and cut into this, shall we? So, you know, we're like enjoying ourselves, you know. I'm pretty much in my element. I'm at the beach. I'm enjoying the water. Matter of fact, I'll even share a picture of me at the beach here. Now, there was a time where like we basically said we were gonna go and get some food, you know. So she wanted to do like this cinnamon ice cream and French fry combo, and it's like I know I've heard of that before, like people dipping their French fries in their milkshakes and stuff like that. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever had it before yesterday, but hey, it is interesting. Anyway, so now this music comes on. Well, they had a DJ and some like Afro beats playing. So, you know, the environment was dope. Then, you know, obviously the entire time I'm dealing with, you know, V2K, and you know, we're at the beach. So obviously it's probably Perp Central or Gang Stalking Society Central. You know, even though you're at the beach, always remember just about anybody who is already connected to this system, who are already operating on the digital spectrum of all information, visual and audio. You know, they can see certain things, they're getting certain messages or inputs into their mind about who you are, what they say that you do, what they say that you're doing, things of that sort. So it's like when you go out, you automatically have to have it in your mind to just be above every influence that they'll try to have over other people, you know. And you got to remember that the people who are basically, you know, conforming and giving into their way of, I guess, life, you have to remember that a lot of them are scared to live their own life anymore. A lot of them are basically conforming because they're afraid to go against an enemy that they can't necessarily see, they can't necessarily, you know, get their hands on, So it's a lot of it is, a lot of these people are doing what they're doing based off of fear in itself. Fear and ignorance, really. Not meaning ignorance in like a negative sense, but the actual definition of ignorance, lacking of knowledge. So yeah, so like she's like, oh, I gotta dance this is my song, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like standing there, I'm holding the ice cream and the fries, and she's like really enjoying herself, and I can already see it, and then I can feel it, and then I'm also hearing the handlers at the same time. That like while she's like she's in her vibe, she's in her zone, she's dancing, like I told you earlier, this is what she does. Very kind of like, damn it, did I miss my stop again? No, I don't think so. It's over here somewhere. But yeah, so she's like in her zone, and then all I'm hearing from the handlers is, Chris has no idea the whole city's watching. See, now everybody know that you this and da da da. Oh, look, he's feeling, he's insecure. Oh, da, 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 da. And it's like, you gotta remember, when you learn to basically, yeah, I definitely know. When you learn to basically live and let go. When I say live and let go, meaning live your life and let go of the things that you can't control. You can't control how other people feel when they look at you. You can't control what other people may do at the sight of you or who you are with. You can't control those things. What you can control is how you react or how you allow yourself to be emotionally involved in something. So like, as I'm standing there, there's a part of me that want to dance, but then I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't want to set the food down, and obviously we're around a lot of people. But in that sense, I mean, there's seagulls and all kinds of things. So I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna just stand here and hold the food. And I mean, she's like going in, like she is full dance beat central. I mean, she's like really, really letting go. And I'm like, one thing I know for certain is that I love to see her happy. No matter what she's doing, as long as she's happy, right? As long as she's happy and, like, in a sense, like happy and, she's getting what she wants, and, it's not like I'm being hurt in the process or anything like that. But like, yeah, like, I'm glad that she's, enjoying herself or whatever. Now, here's what they want you to believe. Here's what the handlers are going off of. They're basically trying to make you feel like, oh, because you're not dancing, everybody is thinking a certain way about you, or, oh, because, whatever. Always remember, they're doing their job. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're doing what they are basically living in this world to do, and that is to basically create loose energy. Loose, if you remember, I mentioned this several weeks back. Loose energy, Loosh. Look it up, loose energy. Loose energy is basically the negative energy that is created out of fear, out of, any negative emotion that you can like think of or basically create, right? Loose energy is the things that let's call them like demons and whatnot. That's the energy that they basically live off of. They love it. Loose energy is what feeds them, right? Fear, doubt, guilt, shame, all of those low vibrational frequency energies, they live off of that. So when you think about hold that thought, let me deliver this real quick. Yeah, so, right, they are basically producers or initiators of, let's see, loose energy. Shit, I meant to go back the other direction. Oh, that's fine. But shit. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I basically remember I gotta protect my peace. So, what I did to basically force myself to not be resonated with the frequency that they're trying to instill in me, because remember, when they're doing their V2K, they're not just only basically trying to dismantle you verbally, they're also transmitting the actual frequency, they're also transmitting the actual frequency of a specific emotional response to your mind, so that you will then resonate with that emotion, and you will feel yourself become that emotion. Remember, if you don't actively control how you think and how you feel, because a lot of people, I realize this, well, you know what? Intuitively, I was probably always very aware of my emotions and stuff like that, but after coming into, knowledge of frequencies and then studying stuff like Qigong and meditation and just how powerful the mind truly is, especially when it comes to the power of manifestation, of thoughtful manifestation, you can actually will yourself into a state of peace, tranquility, neutrality. Like, you can literally manually force yourself to feel an emotion, whether you are stimulated to produce that emotion or not. So like, they were basically trying to see if they could focus on making me feel doubtful about, her, and, whether I could, let's just say, for lack of better words, be enough for her, or whether, whether she like truly cares about me, or whatever the case may be. You let go of that. Because you got to remember, it doesn't make sense to truly fear over something that hasn't happened yet. That's basically setting yourself up for, for failure in a sense. So it's like, why spend the emotional time and anguish trying to fear, or basically fearing something that hasn't necessarily happened yet? If you know you're doing the best that you can do, and you are also maintaining open lines of communication, you're doing what you can to just be the best you possibly can be. Remember, you're on a date, you're dating someone, or you're in a relationship with someone, or you're married to somebody, whatever the case may be. You have to acknowledge the fact that, hey, you can only control yourself. You can't control, what another person does, what another person thinks, what they may say. You can't control that. Focus on the things that you can actually control. Focus on those things. But anyway, so, yeah, she's enjoying herself. She's dancing and whatnot. So I'm telling myself, you know what, Chris, she's great at dancing. So don't allow yourself to feel any particular way because, she's dancing with, oh, there goes one of my coworkers. And, you know that for the most part, obviously you're not that great of a dancer. So, you're not going to be as likely to probably just jump out there and try to do the type of dance that she's doing, because, you didn't study this stuff, so you don't necessarily know. So, anyway, here we are. So, yeah, you talk yourself down from that downward spiral of, basically, like, I just said basically as soon as one of the handlers say basically. You talk yourself down from that downward spiral of a thought process, because that's what they basically want you to be on, is a downward spiral of thought process. They want you to focus on negative things, so then, as you're trying to excel yourself in life, even with all the bullshit they putting you through, you still have to prosper, Hold on 1 second. This is gonna be the last pause, and then after that, I'm done. So yeah, you can't. It's not healthy, honestly, to just constantly be thinking, oh, somebody might come along and, somebody who can probably dance better than me will take her away, or, oh, some woman might come along who looks probably prettier than me will take my man away, or whatever the case may be. You can't necessarily just constantly live your life like that. That's detrimental to your mental health, let alone it lowers your frequency. You can't live your life like that. So I chose to stay on a higher emotional plane, in a sense. I don't necessarily, I told myself, you know what, I'm happy that she's happy. And then you know what, the funny thing is, I was thinking in my head, I could just put the food down and just dance with her. That way she's not like dancing by herself, and then, I can eliminate the whole idea of like, oh, people was like, look, he's not even going to dance with her. Wow. And then like I told you before, like the handlers that I have, or the people that's harassing me, I know their type. I grew up around their type. It's nothing. I grew up in neighborhoods where it's nothing but gaslighting and instigators, and someone always got to prove how tough they are, or how hood they are. Someone always got to prove something to somebody. I don't know why, but it's like it's a thing that, like, people always have to prove something to somebody. You always got to prove that you're not a punk. You always got to prove something. Then all of a sudden, when you think about how much you've been trying to prove something to everybody, you're really taking power away from yourself, because you actually gave into it. Every time you feel like you got to prove something to somebody that over something that really don't matter, you're actually taking power away from yourself. If it's not a clear and present threat to your life, you don't need to prove nothing to nobody. If you decide to respond to it, that's because you felt the need to feel like whatever it is that's being, that's the subject at hand or whatever, you felt that passionate enough to actually give a response. But then they also say doing nothing is also a response. But me, I basically chose that, like, well, I'm not going to set the food down, because not just people walking around and we're out in public, you don't necessarily want to set your food down. But, there was also like birds and, whatever the case may be. Some people would be like, oh, that's excuses. And I'm like, nah, honestly, shit, like, if I didn't have the necessary, impulse to want to dance, that's perfectly fine. I dance at times to certain things, but, I'm not always going to be like, I don't know, I'm not always going to want to dance to everything I hear. And let alone, like, just dance in front of, like, a bunch of people out on the boardwalk in front of everybody, basically making it like a show. I have my moments where I do it, and then some moments I don't do that. Yeah, so yeah, you can't allow yourself to just be, just fall into negative thought processing like that. And then also think about it like this. And I know this may be hard for some people, but I mean, this is probably the most healthiest thing to do, right? If you know that you are good to your partner, you know that you're doing everything that you can do to be respectable, to make sure they have what they need, to give them, honest, unconditional love and things of that stuff. You're trustworthy and all that. Then honestly, you gotta kind of like respect the process of trust, and just have faith that no matter what happens, all things will work out for your good, because if they're for you, then they won't do anything that will basically embarrass or hurt you. And then also you basically can do, let me get on this side. And, if they do, then I mean, honestly, hell yeah, it'll hurt. But at the same time, at least at that point now, that you could actually just say, okay, obviously they weren't truly for me, so now you will leave. I don't believe in, allowing yourself to get hurt over and over again. Look, I don't care if you marry and they just but they continuously hurt you, and they're like, oh, till death do us part. Nah, because I feel like you have to protect your peace. You have to protect your peace. And if your partner is a serial offender of how you feel and your emotions and things of that sort, no, that's insanity to just keep yourself in like a relationship where you constantly feel like you're undervalued or you're disrespected or things of that sort. No. So I applaud everyone who can literally, take that upon themselves and be like, you know what? No, I refuse to keep getting hurt. I'm getting out of this before it gets bad. Because when it gets bad, do you necessarily know if you'll be able to overcome the lengthy damage that you allowed to just keep building up on you? So that's that. But like I said, I was happy that she was happy. She's because she definitely had some days, where, because I told you before, she's being targeted. They've been, attacking her with frequencies and things of that sort too. So she hasn't really had the best, of moments from time to time. So, when she was really feeling herself, I was like, hey, I feel good because you feel good, and that's all that really matters to me. And then there are times where she'll be like, come dance, and I'll dance with her. Or there'll be times where I'll start dancing and she'll dance with me, and then it always just proves once again how much better of a dancer, or how her musicality, her ability to listen to the beats in music and stuff like that is better than me. But it's like, hey, that's her expertise. Now there are things that I have expertise in that she doesn't. But you know what? I always make sure that she doesn't ever fall into any type of negative thought processing or whatever, because I may know something more than what she does, and even later on that evening, or later on last night, while we were still at the beach, eventually another friend that was there, my other friend, she decided, let's play chess, because she brought her chessboard with. My friend, I haven't played chess in a long time, right? But my friend, she beat me twice. But I could tell by the way she was moving and playing, she's been actively playing. So I was like, I'm not even really all that mad about it. You know, like I said, I admitted to the fact I haven't played in a while, so I knew I was gonna be rusty regardless. Hey, accept the things that you can control, and I kid you not, life actually gets a lot more tolerable and easier to bear, especially from an emotional standpoint, because you're not allowing yourself to be what's the word? You're not allowing yourself to, you know, be emotionally held down by things that, you know, aren't necessarily all that important for you to be stressing yourself about. So, anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. You know, because like I said, I talked about the points that I wanted to make and how, you know, the gang stalkers, they're going to say what they want to say, they're going to do what they want to do, but at the end of the day, especially when it comes to law and everything, they're looking at how you respond to things, you know. So then so it's like, it's your responsibility to control your emotions. It's your responsibility to, you know, basically be ahead of the curve in everything that may gaslight you and can be used against you in the court of law per se. You know, they're getting away with it because they're being protected by those who create the laws and things of that sort. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that story and just let people know. Always remember, do not allow yourself to become so emotionally tied to things that you can't control. Always, always remember to just make sure you control you. They may be able to tune you remotely, or they'll be able to, like, you know, try to see if they can, you know, create whatever situations and see how you respond. Just remember, you are still responsible for you. You cannot control anybody outside of you, and you cannot control every situation, you know, that's in your life. Some things you just gotta learn to let go and just go with the flow, and then just you just respond to it in real time and how you want to carry yourself through every situation and with every, you know, interaction you have with a person. You are in control of you. All right. On that note, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.